Thank you for coming. We have Christina, Dr. Christina Rawls here with us today. I am so happy to have you on. I've been looking forward to this interview for a while.
Thank you so much. Me too. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Well, you kind of came to me through a really cool venue. A friend of yours is a participant at Resonant Essentials on occasion, and she told you about us.
Yes, supposedly. I guess there's been word through the grapevine, I've heard. It's been a couple times removed, but I'm so happy to have made your acquaintance and be ready to come to New Mexico in a few weeks.
We are so excited to have you, and we are looking so forward to it. I know a few people have signed up, but I want everyone who's in Albuquerque and surrounding area that can possibly come see you to have that opportunity. So thank you for doing the interview.
Oh, thank you for having me. And hello to everyone, wherever you are. Hello, and I hope that you're living a full day of love and abundance.
Love that about you. You're always so beautifully, your spirit's beautiful, your words are kind and generous. You know, Resonant.
Well, I'm getting there. It's been a long haul, 47 years. It took me 47 years to get there.
Journey start, because if I understand, I was listening to your podcast, and by the way, anybody who's watching this, I've posted her podcast for you to listen to. It was a great interview that you did.
You mean the one with Tanya Berg and Life Continuing? Yay! Hi, Tanya. Life Continuing podcast. I'll make sure I send this to her. Thank you for saying that.
She did a great interview. She did a great job.
She's a great interviewer, and she has the most excellent podcast. Like Life Continuing podcast is really good. It's really worth people's time.
Well, I love the fact that she was very focused, and she really got into your current history, but I want to take it back a few years. I want you to know all about the little girl Christina that was
well, yeah, the supernatural stuff, right? The metaphysical stuff, right? You know, there's so much that, you know, I could talk about, but the gist is I have been this way since birth. And I have known that intuition is real, different from the kind of knowledge the brain generates, that consciousness and the brain work together but are separate, that they're connected to the heart. And I've known that since I was a child, and I've tried various ways to deal with it. It has not always been easy in the least, but you know, according to my parents, my first near-death experience, my first NDE was the day I was born. And then I had recently, a couple of years ago, I had a past life regression session with a medically trained past life regression therapist, Scott DeTamble in California. And I asked him under hypnosis, he asked, why was I had my first NDE the day I was born? And the gist was that my soul saw what was coming for the next 80 plus years, and that the first 40 years would be very, very challenging by choice, and that the second 40 years would be divine and sublime and beautiful and amazing. You know, there's always life's challenges. So my soul was like, I don't know if I want to go through that first 40 years of challenge.
I could just imagine the soul going, I'm cutting and running. That's it. We're done.
Right. That's right. So my poor mom, I mean, she was only 16 at the time, and my dad fainted because I was born dead. Oh. And I was born not breathing. And so my dad fainted, and there's a funny story in the family that all the doctors rushed because they didn't expect my father, who was only 19, like, what is happening here, you know? but they revived me, and so it's just really interesting that the first NDE was the day I was born. And then I have had lots of past life memories. When I was 5 years old, I put on my uncle's baseball glove for the first time, and I felt like it was a part of my body. I did not want to take it off. I was transformed to another place, transfixed, I was transported. But I was in my grandmother's yard. I was 5 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. I put on this baseball glove and something happened. And I remember just not wanting to take it off, like it was a part of my body. I found out later, again, through the past life hypnosis session with Scott DeTamble, that I was a baseball player in my most recent past life. And he did not know anything about that past life memory, that's something that happened as soon as I regressed back in through the womb and then to the most recent past life. So baseball, I have lots of baseball stories over my life to kind of confirm all that. So I had past life memories as a child, and I just remember having experiences where I would astral project in dreams and be visited by different ascended beings and know that it was real. I would wake up, and even as a child, I would know it was real. I just didn't have the words or ways of expressing it. And then and I've had all kinds of those kinds of experiences all my life. To say she's got something, we know not what.
Did you
But so go ahead. Yeah.
find it difficult for your parents because they recognized you as being specially and connected?
Yeah, and yeah,
Having you as a child and trying
yeah,
to
yeah. We're all connected, right? Like I'm not special, but I think they both knew. But it was just a very difficult family situation in general with our two families. I love them very much. And it was just they were families that grew up together down the street from each other their whole lives, but they couldn't be more different, and then their bridge between the two families, that they all went to elementary, high school together, middle school, everything. But the bridge between those two families, a mile apart, was my mom and dad falling in love and having me. And so, it just kind of went from there. But both families knew. And one side, my mom's side, was spiritual, religious, Roman Catholic, and I went to Catholic school in kindergarten. And true story, I got kicked out of Catholic school for chasing around the boys and asking too many questions. And then and getting into a lot of trouble in Catholic school. But then on my mom's side, on my dad's side down the street, they were more scientific, feminist, and so I had kind of the best of both worlds, is the way that I see it, intellectually or theoretically. And so I just continued to develop it throughout life until I went on for the master's thesis in philosophy and studied philosophy and psychology, and then the PhD in philosophy. And I always felt like philosophy was a good place. I loved it. I still love it. And I always felt like it was a good place to explore topics, intellectually speaking.
so
Yeah.
that coming from a lot of hearing a lot of people's different lifestyles, it's very difficult for people who have kids that are so well connected, so obviously connected, because yes, we are connected, but a lot of people shut that aspect down to keep that alive. I'm so glad that they were able to do that with you without any guilt or anything
Yeah.
transgressing on that relationship that you have with spirit.
I
So
think it's better now. I think that now that they have actually seen me in trance, both my parents recently got to experience a public gallery style evening of trance. I don't like the word demonstration. It's for everyone in the room. It's for healing messages and loving connection in the room. So it's less of a demonstration than it is to connect between worlds for me. But they were both there recently in Pennsylvania at different gatherings. So once they got to see that I was serious about leaving by choice, I left academia as a philosophy professor a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, and started the vocation and the business. And my mom is the one who introduced me to, she's the one who actually took the first orb photo that I ever saw. And she took it of my grandfather, her father. And his face is inside the orb, and it's very detailed. It's clearly him, and he's in his favorite place too, the recliner. And so, it was in 2007 when I was a doctoral student in philosophy that I received a photograph from my mother of an orb around my grandfather's head. And so, it's been a process. There's been various things that have happened, but I think they're the most supportive they've ever been now, because they know I'm serious. I mean, who leaves their dream job
Right.
as a philosophy professor? Yeah.
All that money as a professor to do this.
Well,
I
yeah, that's a
can't
bit of a
believe.
complicated,
Yeah.
that's a bit of a complicated subject, but everything from, I loved teaching, was on the ocean in Rhode Island. I had, a great colleagues in many respects, the, wonderful students, and a little cottage. And I love teaching, but there's many factors why I left, including being tracked and hacked illegally and like monitored. But there's a lot of reasons why I left academia, and I'm not knocking philosophy. I'm very grateful to the discipline and to my mentors. But I had to look, the way it worked for me was, if they were going to say that they weren't sure about me, with like, who I am and what I can and can't do, and, if she's crazy or not, then I was just going to go be my medium self. I was just going to go do my other dream job and dream self as a medium,
Think that,
as an evidential medium.
but I think that that's oftentimes what it takes for us to do the work, because I know that when we work in the higher realms, like with trance mediumship, with evidentiary mediumship, and we show people that they're people that have transitioned are still alive and well, and that it takes the fear out, it takes the pleasure out, and healing begins. I think that there's plenty of people to be a professor. There's not too many people who do what you do as well as you do it.
Well, what's interesting, thank you for saying that, and I really am appreciative, and I'm happy to help and visit and do readings and do whatever but at the end of the day, as you already well know, and thank you again for saying that, but as you know, we all have it, and we maybe not everyone wants to or can be a physical medium. Spirit photography is a type of physical mediumship, or a trance medium. We all have intuition, and it's connected to love and consciousness, and it's different from the brain. And science can now prove that, even though some people don't believe it. There's tons of science, and a lot of that's on my website also, but there's tons of science. And I can be tested, and I can do live spirit photography demonstrations. And so I think the paradigm is shifting. I know we're in the awakening, as they call it. And I'm currently learning about the 15 dimensions, like 8 through 15 above the crown chakra, with one of my friends and teachers, Warren Kaler. And, he's a physical medium and trance medium. And so, there's a lot of learning happening still, and it's infinite, right? Knowledge is infinite, learning is infinite, and there's no such thing as just being a perfect, great medium. Even Suzanne Giesemann, also one of my teachers and someone I just absolutely think is wonderful and amazing. Even she is not 100%, but she works continuously at her mediumship. And for anyone who doesn't know, she used to be the highest ranking female U.S. Navy commander in U.S. history on 9/11, 20 years decorated. And now she's a very public and very amazing, beautiful evidential medium who's helping thousands, hundreds of thousands now.
Well,
So
having my own background as a psychic medium, when I lost my son, it devastated me with everything that I knew. And a friend of mine, Audrey, who came in and connected with Resonant Essentials from afar, she came from the UK, helped me regain my balance by saying, look, you can't give up. He's right there. You know this.
right, that's right.
Even though I think people don't recognize that we all go through our ups and downs in this work, it's keeping going that makes a difference.
And helping people and the healing that we witness and the love and the reducing the fear of death, because it is a fact. And like, I know what this means to say this as a philosophy professor, like I get it. But it is a fact that life goes on after physical human death. It is a fact that we have a soul. It is a fact that we have free will and that we're made of love. It is a fact that we're all connected. It is a fact that we've reincarnated and chose to be here. And it is a fact that we're made of love, and we will continue to learn and grow by our choice and with others in a loving way after the earth, physical human death. And all of this can be demonstrated. And that's the part that people sometimes have trouble with, is that it actually can be demonstrated, has been demonstrated, and continues to be tested and demonstrated.
But that's what we're getting down to, because you're going to be here in a couple of weeks.
Yay! I think so. I hope so. We're starting to get a lot of interest and ticket sales for Saturday. We need more for Friday night, but I'm about to buy my ticket. So yes.
So the one thing I want to mention to everybody first, let me double check if anybody has any questions. I have to dodge down here and go.
Hello.
Oh, Rosie said, thank you for posting the podcast. So I want to tell everybody, if you are watching this and you have questions for Christina, then please put them in. However,
Thank you, Rosie.
you'll love her. She's an amazing psychic medium herself.
Well, you mentioned Audrey, and I want to let everyone know that Audrey is already a seasoned trance medium, and she's in the UK, and she told me she has sat in circles with the physical medium Stuart Alexander. She lives right down the street from him, and he's a supporter and wonderful human being. I highly recommend, if you're a healthy skeptic, and we welcome healthy skepticism always, but if you're a healthy skeptic, that you read Stuart Alexander's memoir of a physical medium, of his 50 years as a physical medium. But Audrey tested me. So for everyone who doesn't know, Michelle made sure that she vetted me. And Audrey and I did trance readings for each other and tested me. So.
And I will say, Audrey did table tipping with us. And I was one of the ones that was on the table with her. It was such a joy to participate, and she inspired me to start studying for trance. And Rosie was one of the ones that was sitting to help me with trance.
Wow.
So, I'm getting ready to go back to that a lot more in depth, but that's a story for when you're here. Anyway, we did decide.
Yay! I will be there, yes, in 2 weeks.
But we want to make sure that people understand that there is limited seating for each night. So they need to make sure they make their reservations and pay for their tickets as soon as possible.
Yes, and they can pay through my website, drchris1111.com. So DRCHRIS 1111.com. It connected to my other website, ChristinaRawls.com, but you can look for right on the homepage. You can look for the registration link, or they can even pay with you in the store. That's okay too.
Well, what I did tell everybody that I had signing up, what I told them was that they needed to, when they clicked on the link to go to pay for the Friday or Saturday night, they needed to make sure they document in there, it says send and it says notes. They need to designate what night they want to sit. They want to be at. So they need to put in, I'm registering for Saturday night. I'm registering for Friday.
Friday, that's right. Let us know if it's going to be.
How many people do we have
Right.
for Saturday night now?
Right.
How many open seats do we have?
I think open seats. I believe we still have around 15 or 16 open seats, maybe 17 open seats for Friday. We only have about 15 or less open seats. I think maybe 14 open seats for Saturday. And I do know that I will have a friend joining us Friday night also, Renee, from that area. So I'm so excited. And I'm going to see other friends while I'm there too. Hi, Lois. I'm going to see other friends who are there who have been so gracious to let me stay with them. But I look forward to just seeing your shop, meeting you and you all there at Resonant Essentials, and then connecting everyone who are there Friday, Saturday night for with their loved ones in spirit and evidentially, and then with messages and in trance. So I will be in a partial trance state where my spirit team speaks through me. They often have a British accent and a funny laugh that I cannot reproduce. And people really enjoy that part. And after the trance and the readings, we'll be doing a live spirit photography demonstration both nights, and I'll show everyone the spirits in the room on camera. I don't think we're doing any transfiguration, but maybe next time.
That's just encouraging me to get you to come back.
Yay! Well, let's see how it goes first.
Let me check to see if anybody's got any questions just yet.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, let's see. Rosie said she's registered for Friday. If there are not enough folks coming on Friday, can I join you on Saturday instead? And she said, Christina, we are so excited to have you come and visit us. Thank you. So.
Oh, don't worry. Rosie, we believe in manifestation. So we're going to manifest a lot of people on Friday night. So if you have a ticket for Friday, just stay with us. We're going to manifest a nice group both nights. I'll tell you a quick story of how well this works. I was at Inner Peace it's a healing center in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, a couple weeks.
Hang on, you're coming out. You're going to
gathering.
Please repeat. You said you were at Piston, and then you're cutting out. You're freezing.
Connections. Is the connections not working?
Yeah, it's now you're back. You're back.
So okay. All right. Yeah. So I was at. Thank you. So I was at Inner Peace in West Pittston, Pennsylvania a few weeks ago, and I was just talking about how this manifestation works so well. And I said, we had a few people for each night, but my parents were coming, and I said, come on, Spirit, we want more people who want healing, loving, evidential messages to come and be with us. But also I wanted there to be a few people for my parents to witness and experience also. And so I was, at a parking lot area, and I said, come on, Spirit, let's get more people to these gatherings who need to be there, who want to be there, who maybe don't know about it. And I felt the pull, or, as Suzanne Giesman calls it, the snag, to put a business card on only one car in the parking lot. And I don't bother people that way usually. So I put one of my business cards on the windshield of one car, and the next thing I know, the person bought a ticket and said, I'm the one from the business card on the windshield. He came to one of the evening's gatherings, and the owner of Inner Peace not only already knew him, and this was like 30 minutes apart, between the shop and the parking lot where I was. She not only knew him, but he was a young man who had lost his mother recently, and he was, still missing her and grieving. And so it was so meant to be. But that's how we got him. That's how Spirit got him there, and his mom got him there.
To say that these are ways that we we call them coincidences. I call them acts of spirit, because they have a clearer view and they don't have as much static going on in their brains as we do. In fact, they're clear. We're the ones that get it our own way. So,
Right.
I know this is going to be a wonderful event, and we're going to have some amazing people come in. The tickets are $50. I want to make sure everybody knows that. You can
And 30% goes back to Michelle, goes back to the store and supporting your store.
Well, we are now working on board members. Maybe you can help us manifest that one, because
Okay.
we are now a incubator business for spiritual based businesses in our nonprofit.
Yay.
Goal is to be able to bring in some amazing instructors on the metaphysical level as well as the physical. I have a fantastic board advisory person who, Barbara, she does amazing work with people in business. So as you know, most people that are in this work, they're so gifted that they don't deal well with the business aspect, and they need to learn that, because
Oh yeah, it's been about a year and a few months since I started my business and I'm still learning. I'm
exactly,
still learning.
it's
Yeah.
the marketing I think everybody has a hard time with, but it's also
Yeah.
pay taxes. We want to have those things. So you're going to be a part of helping build that. And by the time we bring you back, we want you back for a long enough time to start helping other people find their own trance skills.
Oh, I'd love to try. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, and I'd love to try. And thank you for that.
I am certain that any amount of help, taking classes, encouragement, just down to the basic, this is what your cabinet should look like. And
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, those are the basic, I have a red light, I have a cabinet that we're using. I brought the cabinet home because, like I said, I'm going to start sitting myself.
And that's exciting. And for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, the cabinet area, it can be as simple as a sheet that you string from corner to corner in the corner of your room. But a cabinet, a good place to see one, you can just Google it, physical mediumship cabinets. But a really fun place to see it is on Netflix in the documentary series
Yes.
Surviving Death, episode 3 with Nicole DeHaas from Holland. Nicole is an amazing trans physical phenomena medium. Michael Shane is another one. I've already mentioned Warren, my favorite, but there's Stuart Alexander, Kai Muga. They're all wonderful, already well experienced, seasoned physical mediums, trance mediums, and they've been doing it for decades. And the healing I've seen in their seances, the joy, the connections, it's life-changing. And it was for me. I already was moving in the direction of professional mediumship, but it was after I met Warren Kaler that my trance mediumship exploded. And now his teachings also are really, really amazing. And there's a lot of really good photography, all of this and all of them. I have this book right here. This was named Time Magazine's best photography book of 2000, I think 19, and it's Shannon Taggart's seance book. And they're all in there. All those names that I just mentioned are all in here. And Shannon is an amazing scholar of spirit photography. So, when we talk about cabinets, we're just talking about a space where the energy can be built up and contained in the room and protect the medium also. And so, yeah, if anyone ever is curious, I highly recommend any of those places or people. They know. Gary Mannion is another one. Scott Milligan, they really know what they're talking about. Isabel Duchenne, and Isabel and I share, and Warren, we share Red Cloud as a spirit guide, and he works with many mediums. So, yeah, I love that you're going to be sitting in cabinet.
Yes, I'm going back. I brought it home. It's I don't know if I can get which angle I need to move you to. Nope,
You might be able to.
it's right there.
Yeah.
It's up against the
Yes. There it is.
So,
Yay.
Rosie and I were invited down to Bisbee, Arizona for the 4-day event that Patty Nergy is doing. And we'll be down there supporting the authors of Albuquerque. As vendors, we're trying to get people seen here in Albuquerque for their spiritual based books, their tarot cards and oracle decks. So we're going to be doing that as well in April. So, you know,
Yay.
life is just moving full circle. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
And let me check to see if there's any questions before we. No question. Oh, wait a minute. Now I got to get my glasses back on.
Oh yeah, maybe I could.
Johanna is our astrologer, and she has astrology group that she has made at the center, and she is really blooming. She's so excited. So don't be surprised if Johanna.
Thank you.
She's amazing.
Oh well, she'll love that I'm an Aquarian times 1,000.
We don't say that because they're going to have a little hard time with Pluto here soon.
I'm an Aquarian times 1,000 with a tiny bit of even in my sun and moon rising, it's Aquarian. I have a little bit of Taurus in there, but that's about it.
Those are all fixed and they're all getting ready to get entertained by Pluto. So I will love you through the process for the next 15 years. I'm just saying, I'm just getting out of it.
Right. Well, if anybody's sitting there right now going, oh my gosh, they're talking about astrology, and I would recommend Suzanne Giesman does an incredible interview with Karen Crawford, who is now a professional astrologer, and she used to be recently a emergency room doctor. So like I say to people, when you've got philosophy professors, Navy commanders, and emergency room doctors leaving their jobs, even though they loved their jobs, to do this work full time, you have to ask, what's happening here, and then look into it and look into the science and the literature, or just try for yourself. You can test it with synchronicity. Synchronicity is the language of spirit. You can just try to test it yourself with various synchronicities in your own life, because we all.
Speaking of synchronicity, Johanna was given the option when she went to this charter school what to study. And I think she said she was 14 and she chose astrology.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, Alison Dubois, the medium Alison Dubois that they made the TV show about, medium, who I had the honor of being interviewed with for and her podcast, The Dead Life, and then she did my podcast with Orb Magic. So anyone can look those up. She's also very much into astrology, and it's the oldest science in the books. It is what the ancients used thousands of years ago. So there's something to it.
And that's just it, is that, I just finished my book and have it out on the market on Mastering Metaphysics.
Right. Yeah.
Old knowledge just brought back into life, and that's what we're all about. We're here to bring the light. So that's
that's right.
Integrity. We're walking in the light. I'm so excited to have you come in. I am so thrilled that you're going to be coming in to show people what possibilities are there, because when I was at my lowest and I was really struggling, I went to go see David Thompson in Santa Fe when he was there, and my son came through, and I was reminded by my son, this is why you do the work, Mom. This is why you do the work.
Yeah.
Feelings are there for everybody. So it's open. It doesn't matter what we think we know. It's what we truly know and what we feel that brings about the change for healing. And I am so honored to have you come to us.
I'm just grateful that we are connected and that you've invited me and that I got to be vetted by Audrey, because, she was wonderful. And I think that's good practice on your end. I love that. I think that's very good practice on your end. And I hope we can do a good job all together. And I look forward to being in some sunshine. I'm in northern Minnesota and it's quite cold here. I just moved here last week. So I'm looking forward to getting some sunshine in New Mexico.
Hopefully, since you're coming at the end of February, that we'll be up in the 50s again. 50s and 60s.
Ooh, yeah.
Again, you'll be able to do it.
Put on the music. Put on the music. Call in the orb spirits.
Absolutely. Christina, thank you. For those of
Yay.
you here, if you want to watch or share the recast or you want to see it again, go to Resonant Essentials YouTube. I will have uploaded it by the end of today.
Woo!
Anybody can see it there and they can participate. I enjoyed having you. I can't wait. We'll be probably do a live while you're here, just to say she's here, she's here. And
Woo! You guys are the best. Now, I have to constantly check my ego, and it's something I work on regularly and that I have to work on regularly. But if it brings more people into experience trance mediumship, evidential trance mediumship, and learn that they have it also, and if it brings more people in who want healing or who maybe have lost a loved one or just want to, have a phone call to their loved ones in spirit, and then come over to see the live spirit photography demonstration, I can help people learn how to do it themselves. So, thank you for everything, and thank you for that. Yay. I look forward to it.
thank you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Call when you get
Okay.
on and we can maybe grab a bite or
Yes.
my son-in-law's Great American Cookie Store.
Yes. Yes.
We will see.
Oh, okay. I will do. I'll see you soon. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.